As kids head back to school, keeping them safe is every parent's top priority. With the growing challenges kids face both online and in the real world, it's crucial that we equip them with the tools they need to stay safe. Today, an expert from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children will guide us through how to have these important conversations. Let's welcome their Vice President of Content and Community Engagement. We have Stacey Garrett. Stacey, thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me. Good morning.
Good morning, Stacey. We want to keep kids safe as they head back to school, but why is it so important to include online safety in those conversations now?
Well, we know that parents are going to focus on safety with their kids going back to school. So obviously, it's still important to talk about, as they're walking to the school bus or walking to and from school. But online safety is so important because we're seeing that there are threats that children face online. In fact, the National Center has seen an increase in reports of online enticement, a 300% increase over the past 3 years. So we just want to make sure that along with those in-person real world conversations about safety, that we're also including online safety in those conversations.
Yeah, I think it's so important to discuss this, especially because so many kids are online more frequently, even more so than when I was a kid, especially with social media being so prominent. So when it comes to online safety, what key topics should parents focus on to help their children navigate the digital world safely?
Well, we realize that this is a huge area to try to tackle and it can be kind of intimidating. So we recommend three topics that they can start with. One of them is healthy relationships, because what we've found is that if kids are able to spot signs of grooming or manipulation, that they're going to be in a better place to be able to avoid those things online and hopefully avoid some of the risks that they would face.
Hmm.
Also, the idea of being an upstander, because one of the threats that can happen online is the circulation of nudes or even deep fakes, as we've seen AI begin to be a factor in online safety. And so encouraging kids not to contribute to the spread of those images can become really important. And then the third topic that we'd recommend that parents include is what to do if something happens that makes them uncomfortable. And what's really critical there is that they know that they are going to be supported, that they know that you're there for them, and also that they know that there's something they can do to report it and that there is help out there.
And now let's talk about offline safety, or the real world is still a concern as well too, as you mentioned a little bit earlier. What should parents teach their kids about staying safe IRL in real life?
Well, the truth is that those sort of stereotypical abductions that you hear about, where someone that doesn't know the child takes them, those are statistically very rare. So I think that that's good news. But we still encourage the parents to talk to safety or talk about safety with their kids. And so that can include having a safety plan. That can include talking to them about what to do when they are on their own. And it can be things like encouraging them to take a friend. It can be things like telling them that they should check first before going anywhere alone. And so as long as we're having those conversations kind of early and often in a child's life, it can have a big impact when they're faced with those situations.
Yeah, especially even just walking home or to school, being aware, being alert. A lot of the times when people are out in public, their faces are buried in their phones. So we want to make sure those kids stay alert and stay safe. Now let's think about children building independence, especially walking to school or waiting for the bus. When should parents begin to develop in their kids a skill for being street smart? And how can they make these conversations age appropriate and ongoing?
So we use the phrase early and often when we make recommendations for when having conversations about safety. And I think that you can look for opportunities like back to school, or even other teachable moments. Like, for example, maybe you hear a story on the radio as you're driving in somewhere, or maybe you see a storyline on a TV show that you're watching together. Taking those opportunities to introduce topics of conversation or topics of safety into the conversation on a regular cadence is really important in making sure that it's something that they're familiar and comfortable with, because it's not something that can be kind of like a one and done, check the box. So just making sure that it's something that is covered regularly in the child's life, starting as early as when they are starting to have some of that independence. And certainly back to school is a great opportunity to start.
All helpful resources, Stacey. Thank you so much. And for educational tools like KidSmarts and NetSmarts to make the conversations about safety a little bit easier, you can go to ncmec.org/backtoschool.